looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. Carl Jung. Have you ever felt like you were living someone else's life? Like you're moving, breathing, surviving, but you don't know who you are anymore? You smile, you nod, you do what's expected, but inside, there's silence, a quiet ache, a question that never goes away. Who am I when no one's watching, when the world turns quiet and all that's left is me? We spend so much time running toward approval, toward success, toward love. But sometimes the path forward isn't out there. It's in here, inside, in the place we've been avoiding all along. Carl Jung called it individuation, the journey inward, not to become perfect, but to become whole. It's a path few dare to walk, because to find yourself, you must first lose everything that isn't you. In this journey, solitude is not your enemy. It is your guide. So today, let's go there. To the stillness, to the shadows, to the place where your true self waits in silence, to be remembered. Welcome to the journey back home. There comes a moment when the noise stops and all you're left with is you. No messages, no voices, just the sound of your own breath. At first, it feels like something's missing. The silence is sharp, uncomfortable, heavy. You reach for distractions. Scroll, click, check, anything. But this stillness, because silence holds a mirror, and mirrors don't lie. Carl Jung wrote, "Loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to you." And maybe that's what solitude really is. Not emptiness, but honesty. Because when you're finally alone, the masks fall, the roles fade. You are not a parent, not a partner, not a job title. You are simply you. And maybe for the first time, you're not sure who that is. You've spent years becoming what others needed, what the world applauded. But who were you before all that? That's the real question. Not what do you do, but who are you without doing anything at all? Jung called this the beginning, the first step on the path of becoming whole. But it requires solitude, and solitude is sacred. It is not punishment. It is invitation to listen, to feel, to return. Because deep within you, there is a voice, one that's been whispering all along. So faint, you couldn't hear it through the noise. But now, in the stillness, it speaks. Come back to yourself. Remember who you are. It's not easy. The world doesn't teach us to be alone. It teaches us to perform, to please, to belong. But you don't find yourself in a crowd. You find yourself in the quiet corners, where no one is looking, where no one expects anything, where you finally meet your soul without a script. There is grief in this. Yes, letting go of who you thought you had to be can feel like dying, but it's not death. It's transformation. Jung believed that every human life is a story, a journey toward becoming real, authentic, integrated. And that journey always begins alone. You are not broken because you feel lonely. You are not failing because you crave silence. You are awakening. The life you've been searching for is not out there. It's here, within you, waiting. So let the world fall quiet. Let the noise fade. Let the masks dissolve. Because this is where the real work begins. This is where healing starts. This is the call to solitude. And it's calling you. There's a place inside you you've avoided for years. A dark hallway, a locked door, a whisper you pretend not to hear. But it's there, always. Carl Jung called it the shadow. The parts of us we hide. And the anger, the shame, the envy, the guilt, all the things we were told not to feel, not to show. So we buried them, pushed them deep, smiled instead. But buried things don't die. They wait, in silence, in dreams, in sudden waves of sadness that come without warning, in the anger that flares up and we can't explain why. The shadow is not evil. It's not the enemy. It's the pain we never gave ourselves permission to feel. And solitude brings it to the surface. When you're alone, there's no one to distract you, no one to impress, no one to blame. Just you and everything you've been avoiding. It's terrifying, yes, but it's necessary. Because Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. To grow, you must walk into that cave, the one you fear most, the one filled with memories you swore you'd never revisit. That heartbreak, that mistake, that version of you that you hated. But listen, that pain is not here to punish you. It's here to teach you, to shape you, to show you what still needs healing. There is no wholeness without facing the shadow, no peace without truth. This is the moment when the man in the mirror trembles, when his hands shake, when he sees himself, not as he wishes to be, but as he truly is. And it breaks him. But not all breaking is destruction. Some breaking is breakthrough. He remembers the lie he believed as a child. I'm not enough. He sees how it ruled his life, his choices, his fears, his silence. And in that moment, tears fall, not out of weakness, but release. The truth is, you can't become who you are without facing what you've been. Jung believed the shadow must be integrated, not rejected. It must be seen, named, welcomed, like a long-lost part of yourself. You don't fight it. You sit with it. You say, I see you. I know where you came from, and I'm ready to listen. That is courage, not the kind that wins battles, but the kind that sits alone in the dark and chooses not to run. And when you do that, something shifts. The shadow becomes less frightening, less monstrous, because it was never meant to destroy you. It was waiting to be healed, and healing begins when you stop hiding from yourself. So yes, solitude will show you your darkness, but it will also teach you that you are strong enough to hold it. This is not the end of you. This is the beginning of truth, of healing, of light that is earned, not imagined. You are not your wounds. You are the one brave enough to face them. So, enter the cave, shaking, crying, breathing, but don't turn away, because at the end of that darkness, you'll find a light, and it will not blind you. It will welcome you home. You came out of the cave, not the same, never the same. You're tired, but lighter. You carry something now. Not pain, not pride, but power. The quiet kind, the kind no one sees, but you feel in your bones. Carl Jung called this moment the hero's return. The hero is not the strongest man in the village. He's not the loudest. He's the one who walked alone, faced the dark, and brought back truth. And now, he builds, he creates, he gives, not because he needs approval, but because he's found purpose. You are that hero, not because you wear armor, but because you took it off. You allowed yourself to feel, to fall, to rise. The hero is not the one who never cries. He's the one who knows why he's crying and still moves forward. Jung taught that the hero is an archetype, a pattern written deep in our psyche. We're all born with it, waiting to awaken. But here's the secret. The hero is born in solitude, not on a stage, not with applause, but in silence, in the stillness where you hear your soul speak. That's where courage grows. That's where clarity begins. That's where the mask falls and the real face finally breathes. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be real. That's what the hero is. Authentic, grounded, awake. Jung said, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. You've looked inside. You're waking now. You begin to build, not a castle, but a life. A small wooden shelter by the stream. A journal filled with your own words. Not quotes, truths. You help someone without needing thanks. You speak your truth without fear. You walk with your head high, not because you've conquered others, but because you've faced yourself. That's what the hero does. He doesn't seek validation. He lives from conviction. He doesn't fight for attention. He stands in purpose. He may be quiet, but his presence changes rooms. He may be alone, but he is never lonely because he has himself. And that is enough. This is the paradox of solitude. You walk alone and find a deeper connection to life, to truth, to meaning. You are no longer searching for who you should be. You are living as who you are, and that changes everything. The hero's strength is not in how much he carries, but in how deeply he understands. You've walked the path. You've faced the shadow. You've returned with gold. Now share it, not to impress, but to inspire. Because somewhere, someone is standing at the mouth of their own cave, terrified, just like you were. And they need to know it's possible that you can face the dark and find yourself. That solitude doesn't break you. It births you. You are the proof. You are the hero. What does it mean to be whole? Not perfect, not flawless, but whole. To accept every part of yourself. The strong, the soft, the broken, the becoming. Carl Jung called this the journey of individuation, the process of becoming who you truly are, not who the world expects, not who you pretended to be, but you, unfiltered, unmasked, alive. You don't find this self in a crowd. You don't find it in praise. You find it in quiet moments, alone, when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when it's just you and the truth. Individuation is not a destination. It's a devotion to heal the split inside, to gather all your scattered pieces and welcome them home. Even the parts you once rejected, even the parts others told you to hide. You are not just your light. You are also your shadow. And together, they make you whole. Wholeness means you stop chasing love to feel worthy. You stop performing. You stop shrinking. You start standing. You don't ask, will they like me? You ask, is this true to me? And in that shift, you change everything. You no longer need someone to complete you, because you've met the only one who truly can, yourself. And oh, what a meeting it is. A homecoming, a reunion, a quiet celebration between your soul and your courage. Now, you give love not from lack, but from overflow. You don't cling. You connect. You don't beg to be seen. You see yourself clearly, compassionately. This is the fruit of solitude. It doesn't just make you stronger. It makes you whole. Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. You've earned that privilege with every step, alone, with every tear no one saw, with every truth you chose to face. Now, you walk through life differently, grounded, clear, alive. You may meet others along the way, not as halves searching for completion, but as whole beings sharing the path, no longer leaning on each other to survive, but walking side by side, rooted in self, free in love. Your solitude was not a prison. It was a portal. And on the other side of that silence, you found yourself. This is individuation, not escape, but arrival, not fixing, but accepting, not empty, but finally full of presence, of peace, of purpose. You are whole now, not because you became someone else, but because you returned to who you've always been. Some journeys don't end. They deepen. You don't graduate from solitude. You return to it again and again, not because you're broken, but because you remember. This is where you meet yourself, in the quiet, in the stillness, in the space between thoughts. Carl Jung said, the world will ask you who you are, and if you do not know, the world will tell you. But you've learned the answer doesn't live out there. It lives in here, inside the silence you once feared. Now, that silence feels sacred, not empty, but full of truth, of presence, of you. Solitude is no longer loneliness. It's intimacy with your soul, with your breath, with what can't be named, only known. And the world, it still spins, it still shouts, but you're no longer lost in the noise. You walk through it, anchored, awake, alive. You don't seek to be understood anymore. You seek to understand, to witness, to give, to simply be. You've built something inside, unshakable, unstealable, yours. You're not afraid to be alone now, because now you know you were never truly alone. Yourself was always there, waiting, watching, whispering, "I'm here. I've always been here." That voice is eternal, and so are you. So return to the stillness when you need to. Let the world fall away. Close the door, light the candle, and listen. Listen to the quiet that knows your name, the one the world forgot. But you remembered. This journey never ends. It only begins again and again. Each time you choose to be real, to be whole, to be you. Solitude is not the absence of love. It's the space that makes room for it, the kind that flows from within, from truth, from peace, from you. So walk on, not with haste, not with fear, but with reverence. You've met yourself, and that is enough. It is always enough. The man walks through a meadow. Sunlight dances on the grass. A gentle wind carries the scent of earth. He looks up. In the sky, a cloud shaped like a mandala drifts silently, as if the universe itself is watching. And he smiles because he knows this journey, this becoming, isn't about reaching a destination. It's about remembering who you are, why you're here, and what really matters. Not perfection, not applause, just truth and presence. The world may never understand this path. That's okay. You're not walking it for the world. You're walking it for yourself, for the wholeness only solitude can reveal. So, take one more breath. Let it fill you. Let it steady you. Let it remind you. You are enough. Always have been. If this story touched something in you, if you felt seen, heard, remembered, then stay with us. Subscribe and walk with others who are learning to walk alone together. What does solitude mean to you? We read every word, because here, your journey matters. Here, your silence is honored. And here, yourself is home.